you'll be able to lift your back a bit more. Your hind end will then be able to be a little bit more connected, which will then allow you to carry yourself better. And because she's not fully willing to accept that 100% of the time, that's why you have to be there 100% of the time, right? And then there's that difference between come on, come on, come on, come on, versus, okay, if I have to educate you, I'm going to educate you, not sort of hold your hand. And I'm speaking, I think, a little bit more than what's actually going on, but you know what I mean? Like there's that difference between I'm hoping that you go there versus, hey, you've got to go there in order to unlock yourself. And that's a little bit how you have to think about it. And by really just honing in on that one thing, again, by letting yourself focus on that right jaw specifically, a little bit, so what if the circle gets small? Because the reason it gets small is because she braces, not because of anything else. So when she stops bracing, and that's why I said when the circle gets smaller, take it bent a little bit more until she has to actually break herself. Because when she breaks herself, it forces her to lift on the outside side, which means she takes a bigger step on the left shoulder, which means the circle gets bigger. So you're able to make the circle bigger without saying, get the circle bigger. You're just there sort of, hey, bend right until I feel you sort of break and accept the pressure, and then I'm going to push you out through that break. That if you try to push her out before she has accepted it, you're basically pulling something that is falling to the right. So you've got to say, hey, if you want to fall to the right, a little bit fall to the right, catch yourself, because there'll be a point where she's like, okay, this is too much, I got to change something, which she's actually done a couple times. Like every time the circle has gotten a bit bigger, I'm sure you had felt a bit of a release through the right. That she's like, okay, this isn't working, I'm going to give, and then it sort of unconsciously she opens herself on the outside. So it's a little bit thinking about what is the root cause, and not so much how do I make the circle big, because you know you can make the circle big whenever you actually need to, by sort of bringing that shoulder out. But if she needs to figure out how to make the circle bigger on her own, she's got to realize that she has to, again, release through that outside side. It's a little bit the same both directions. Got to release through that outside side in order for her to basically allow herself to do it. So let's head left for a little bit with that same mentality. But really think the difference is that I am putting you in a specific place in order for you to give, not hoping you go in a general area I'm asking you to go into. And the more inconsistent she is, the more, because again, this direction, she likes to do a little bit that up, down more than to the right, right? So here, you have to sort of ignore the up, down, and you just have to say, you're gonna go here until you say okay. And then once you say okay to being here, then I'll mess with something else. But if you're not okay being here, I'm just gonna quietly stay here until you realize, or you've gone through your checklist of, I tried this, and why the heck am I still here? Eventually when she says, okay, I'll live there, that's when you can make the shoulder bigger. That's when the transition to canter is available. That's when the transition to walk is available. So think about that as you mess with that a bit. Does that all make sense? I know that's a ridiculous amount of words, but think about that. That you care more about the connection, because the connection right now is what helps her release through her body. That if her body is released, then there's a heck of a lot more available to you than if she's a bit up against it. Right? So have that a bit to the left.